Congress is running out of time to stop health care premiums from spiking on January 1st. With the Senate deadlock, tax credits for 24 million Americans are set to expire. So Republicans say their plan would deliver targeted relief while blocking taxpayer funding for abortion and gender transition procedures. But Democrats have rejected it outright. So what happens next? Joining me now is Washington Stand reporter Casey Harper, who has been following today's stories from Capitol Hill. Casey, where does this leave the negotiations, and what are the Republicans saying as the deadline approaches? What's the next step?
Yeah, well, thanks, Tony. Well, this breakdown came after both parties blocked each other's bills in the Senate. Republicans pushed a plan offering up to $1,500 in direct help for middle-income families, with guardrails to prevent funds from being used for abortion or gender transition procedures. Those are provisions, of course, that Democrats refused to accept. Here's what Majority Leader John Thune said about Democrats today.
I hope that after today, they'll feel like they've checked the messaging box and will get serious about actually doing something about the spiraling health care costs under Obamacare. Republicans are ready to get to work, Mr. President. I'm not sure yet the Democrats are interested.
Now, Democrats instead want to extend the COVID-era Obamacare subsidies for 3 more years. With premiums expected to jump dramatically, even Republicans like Senator Josh Hawley warned that Congress can't walk away without a fix. But GOP leaders say Democrats created this crisis and now refuse to negotiate. For now, there's no deal, but the House is considering several plans that could be debated and voted on as early as next week, Tony.
All right, thanks, Casey. Last night, it took the House a little longer to pass the National Defense Authorization Act. Speaker Mike Johnson had to use his negotiating skills once again to convince 5 GOP holdouts to get the bill across the finish line. Give us a brief update on this and what next steps are.
Yeah, never a dull day for the Speaker, Tony, but you're absolutely right. The House passed the nearly $1 trillion 2026 National Defense Authorization Act after Speaker Johnson convinced those 5 holdouts to support the bill, marking 65 years of annual approval.
On this vote, the yeas are 312, the nays are 112. The bill is passed without objection. A motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Now, the NDAA provides full support for Israel's missile defense systems, including Iron Dome, and it calls for reviews of international arms embargoes. Attempts to mandate coverage for IVF and transgender-related procedures were left out of the final bill, a move that was applauded by pro-life and family policy advocates. The bill now heads to the Senate next week, Tony.
All right. Earlier today, the House Foreign Affairs Committee Subcommittee on Africa held a hearing on Sudan. I had the privilege of testifying. Casey, from your perspective as a reporter, what are the key takeaways from that important discussion about what's happening in Sudan right now?
Yeah, a major hearing, Tony. And as you know, New Jersey Congressman Chris Smith, who's been a longtime champion of human rights, chaired the hearing today. Now, one of the most shocking statistics he raised is that since 2023, up to 150,000 civilians have been slaughtered, and over 10 million have been displaced in Sudan. Killings, rapes, abductions, and child soldier recruitment continue. U.S. officials condemned atrocities by both Sudan's Rapid Support Forces and armed forces. They stressed that attacks on aid convoys must stop, and a ceasefire is urgently needed. Congressman Smith also gave a special shout out to you, Tony, while raising alarms about the persecution of Christians in Sudan. Here's what he had to say.
Former chair of the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, Tony Perkins, has also led a delegation to Sudan, and in 2020 and today will testify that both the RSF and the SAF have a common enemy in Christians. Christians have been denied food aid and told, unless you leave your Christianity, you will not get any food.
Now, the U.S. has provided $400 million in humanitarian aid and sanctioned over 40 individuals fueling the conflict while negotiating a truce with regional partners. Former Ambassador for International Religious Freedom, Sam Brownback, warned that a civilian-led government protecting religious freedom is essential, and ending the war is crucial for millions of lives and U.S. global leadership, Tony.
Thanks, Casey. Sudan has certainly slipped backward And Christians, among others, are once again facing fear, pressure, and open persecution. But it's just one spot. In the world. The world is on fire. A lot to be praying about. You know, I've seen how much hope there was at one point and how quickly it has been lost. Now, my prayer is that America will stand with the innocent people of Sudan, support a future where they can live and worship freely again. But part of the conversation we had this afternoon was we have to address those underlying issues. And that's not just the immediate crisis. We've been here before. It's the underlying lack of a foundation of a civil society, in large part because they do not have that religious freedom. All right, Casey, thanks for the update. I would ask you for a weather report, but I could tell you're already cold, so I don't guess I need it.
My lips are frozen.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us.